eyes were beautiful.
Sorry, I forgot to start recording.
No problem. His eyes were beautifully wide, and his nose and ears were highly raised. He had a very attractive face, and his neck was well formed with beautiful like a conch shell. Puppet. A respectable personality is described beginning with legs, and this honored system is observed here with Sukadeva Goswami. He was only 16 years of age. A person is honored for his achievements and not for advanced age. A person can be older by experience and not by age. Sri Sukadeva Goswami, who is described herein as the son of a Vyasadeva, was by his knowledge more experienced than all the sages present there, although he was only 16 years old. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada. So, and that is obvious because a person who has stayed with Srimati Radharani for such a long time and who has received Brahmagyan from Shankar and who has received, understood Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasdev, we can even only imagine what could be his level. So age is a physical factor, right? In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if I'm not wrong, in the 44th verse, Krishna says, Tatratam buddhi samyogam labhate paurva dehikam. Okay, the word used over there is paurva dehikam. Paurva meaning of the previous one, the previous life. Into the current body, he gets that buddhi because of his previous life. That is what Krishna says. Now, if let's say if somebody had, let's say, 80% knowledge in the previous life, and now he has given up the old body, taken a new body, and in this current body, he is now 5 years old. But a person in the previous life had only 5% knowledge, and now in the next life, he is 60 years old, but has reached maximum 10% knowledge. So who, according to you, is more experienced? Obviously, the person who has 80% knowledge, although 5 years old now. Whereas this person who has 10% knowledge, but 60 years of age, knowledge-wise, he is still less. So when we decide to give respect to somebody purely because of his age, then we are again looking at the bodily aspect of that person, right? Age is a factor of the body, not the Atma. So when you say that I am 20 years old, that means 20 years back, I entered into this body. So I am not 20 years old. This body is 20 years old. But the knowledge, the intelligence, the devotion to Krishna is attached with me and not with my body. So to say that the knowledge is linked with age is itself incorrect. It's illogical also. So that's why Prabhupada writes here that knowledge-wise, he was more experienced than everybody else, although his age was 16 years old. So this is one important point to understand. And if you look at all of these verses, whether it's Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, if you try to think from 2-3 different angles, you will understand the meaning of the verse quite nicely. It's just that we don't spend time analyzing the verses and the purports, and that's why it becomes a bit difficult to correlate multiple verses to each other, understand them together, understand them separately, and then link it up with the higher purpose. Then that aspect becomes a bit difficult. There is another verse, I just forgot that verse, again in Srimad Bhagavatam only, which talks about how to take darshan of the Lord. Okay, so when you enter the temple and when you see the Lord, at the first moment, where do you look at the Lord? which portion of the Lord's body do you first look at? Can someone answer?
Prabhu, as per scriptures, I think we should start with the legs. Charan Kamal सबसे पहले देखना चाहिए.
Correct. Anybody has any other thoughts?
Prabhuji, generally we see the face first, but like Prabhu said, we should see the Lord's feet first.
Yes, exactly. And Lord's feet देखने के बाद which portion of the body should one look at?
Slowly we should go up.
Yeah, correct. So that verse in Srimad Bhagavatam also mentions the same thing, that you start with the feet, move upwards, move to the thighs, knees, calves, the waist, the nabhi, then the chest, then the arms, then the forearms, then arms, then shoulders, and then the face, then the forehead, then the ears, then the eyes, forehead, hair, and all of this. So going upwards, you should see the form. And do you know any similarity between Bhagavatam and this mechanism or this sequence? Anybody knows?
Yeah, Prabhuji, like the first canto, I don't remember, but the first canto are the feet, and then it goes upwards like that.
Correct,
and the
correct.
canto is the face of the Lord.
Correct, exactly. So the cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are also structured in the same manner, going from the feet to the thighs to the waist and then the chest and all that. And the 10th canto is the face of the sun. That is why you will see the names of the cantos that Prabhupada has given also are accordingly. So the 10th canto is called as Sambambonam, all in all, everything, absolutely nothing else is remaining. The pinnacle. Okay. So try, whenever you go to the temple, try and take darshan of the Lord in this particular manner. Start from the feet. Okay. And our level currently is at his feet only. And in fact, it will remain at his feet only. So for us, his lotus feet are first object of our worship, and then we can go upwards. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's move on. Niguda Jatrum Pruthu Tungavakshasam Avartanabhim Vali Valgudaram Cha Digambaram Vaktra Vikirna Kesham Pralamba Bahum Swamarottamabham. Translation. Anybody reading?
His collarbone was fleshy, his chest broad and thick, his navel deep, and his abdomen beautifully stripped. His arms were long, and curly hair was turned over his beautiful face. He was naked, and the hue of his body reflected that of Lord Krishna. His bodily features indicate him to be different from common men. All the signs described in connection with the bodily features of Sukhdev Goswami are uncommon symptoms typical of great personalities, according to physiognomonical calculations. His bodily hue resembled that of Krishna, who is the supreme among the gods, demigods, and all living beings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, can somebody say how does this relate to us, the descriptions? What does this indicate? What do you think? Anybody? Nahi?
When it compared with our things, we will have some sort of a defects. We are not good in all features.
Yeah. And why does that happen?
Because basically we lack those qualities.
Yeah, correct. And why do we lack those qualities?
Is it modes of material nature?
Correct. And why do those modes of material nature apply to us?
Because we are subjected to Maya.
Okay, and a little more effective answer. So because we are subjected
Because we
to
took
Maya,
birth in this material world.
yeah, but what happens is, because of our past karma, okay, we get certain bodies according to what we deserve, the good and the bad. So how does this matter? So if you remember, in the, I think in the 8th chapter, first canto, I think in the 25th verse, or no, don't remember the verse number exactly. Kunti Mata, when she was speaking about the glories of Krishna, that time she mentioned uh, four uh, four qualities or four types of benefits that good karma gives us. So one is we get birth in a very good family. The other one is we get a very good body. Third one is very good opulences, and fourth one is Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shribhi, and then very good knowledge. So family, bodily characteristics, uh, wealth, and knowledge. These are the four things. So depending on the quality of karma that we have done previously, we get these four of them either or together in different proportions. Now, when we see somebody as beautiful as, say, for example, Aishwarya Rai, or somebody as talented as Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, or somebody as wealthy as Jeff Bezos, or somebody having such a great personality like, say, for example, Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, where do these things come from? Did Amitabh Bachchan decide that my parents were supposed to be tall, only then I will take birth in their womb? He had no control over how tall he should become, how tall his parents should be, how great personality he should have, what kind of voice or acting skills or cricket batting skills or wealth creation mentality, what kind of that should be there, that he had absolutely, nobody has absolutely any control over it. So these are predestined for us, that because you have done XYZ good karma, you will get XYZ good results. And because you have done ABC bad karma, you will get ABC bad results. Now, when somebody's body is beautiful because of his karma, so we can understand how the beauty is defined. Somebody has having a very broad chest and very strong chest, forearms, arms, biceps, triceps, and everything, flat stomach and everything. All of these are basically the definition of a good body, good looking body. Right? So when we see a peacock, we see the beautiful feathers of a peacock and we appreciate the beauty. But if you see the legs of a peacock, they are very crooked. Not crooked, but they are very dirty. They are not at all good looking. Okay. So it is also by design that the peacock has been created that way. So somebody who must have created bad karma, because of which the punishment, relevant punishment, is bad legs. And that same person who did good karma, because of which the rest of the features of the body are very good, he will get the body of a peacock. Similarly, when these aspects are being talked about here, that a collarbone is very fleshy, chest is broad and thick and navel deep and all that, these are the characteristics of a good looking body. And why this body is good looking? Because of his previous karma. In Ramayana, when Sri Ram was being described, at that time, if I remember correctly, one of the descriptions was that Sri Ram did not have a collarbone. That is when I understood that Sri Ramchandra Prabhu, okay, there is nothing like karma that is applicable to him, which means when he wants, he can take the most beautiful human form. So that means whatever he possesses, the beauty is defined based on what Lord Ram possesses. And lack of beauty is defined by what Lord Ram does not possess. So having a collarbone actually means probably you are restricted to perform certain action by your shoulders, which cannot be applicable to Lord Ram. So the point here is that because Aishwarya Rai looks beautiful, we define beauty based on how Aishwarya Rai looks. So when some woman says that I am beautiful, then we will compare that with Aishwarya Rai to tell her, yes, you are or you are not beautiful. Similarly, when Lord Ram possesses certain characteristics of a body, we will identify whether that person is beautiful or not beautiful based on how Lord Ram looks. When Shukadev Goswami is defined or characteristics are defined, we understand that he is being described as beautiful. Based on that, we can say, okay, having a broad chest and a thick chest and a deep navel and a beautifully striped abdomen are characteristics of beauty in a man. So we can understand it from this perspective also. The color of the body is like the reflection of Lord Krishna. So it's not that he is commanding some respect because of his bodily characteristics, but these are natural to people. But despite that, he was least interested in his body, which is an amazing aspect. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's move on. Verse number 28. Shamam sadapi vyayo Angalakshmya Strinam Manojnyam Ruchirasmitena Pratyuthitaste Munayah Swasanebhyah Tallakshanagnya Api Gud Varchasam.
Hare Krishna. Translation. He was blackish and very beautiful due to his youth. Because of the glamour of his body and his attractive smiles, he was pleasing to women. Though he tried to cover his natural glories, the great sages present there were all expert in the art of physiognomy. And so they honored him by rising from their seats.
Let's move on. Verse number 29. Sa Vishnurato tithaya agataya tasmai sarpayam shirasa jahara tato nivruttaya buddha striyorbhaka mahasane sopavivesha pujitaha. Translation. Sumati Mataji, you want to read?
Hi, Prabhuji. Yeah. Translation by Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Yes.
Maharaj is also known as Vishnu Ratta,
Right.
one who is always protected by Vishnu. Bowed his head to receive the chief guest, Sukadev Goswami. At that time, all the ignorant women and boys ceased following Sril Sukadev, receiving respect. Sukadev Goswami took his exalted seat. Purport. On Shukdev Goswami's arrival at the meeting, everyone except Sril Vyasadeva, Narada, and a few others stood up. And Maharaj Parikshit, who was glad to receive a great devotee of the Lord, bowed down before him with all the limbs of his body. Sukadev Goswami also exchanged the greetings and reception by embrace, shaking the hands, nodding, and bowing down, especially for his father and Narada Muni. Thus, he was offered the presidential seat at the meeting. When he was so received by the king and sages, The street boys and less intelligent women who followed him were struck with wonder and fear. So they retired from their frivolous activities and everything was full of gravity and calm. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we understand that, wherein when a certain person, his identity is not known, until then he is being treated as either an ordinary person or below even that ordinary person. But the moment that person's identity is understood, then people fall in line. And one of the examples is, it's a kind of a mischievous example, is when you go to some government office or a police station, okay, uh, people, when certain important people enter into these offices, they don't immediately understand and recognize them. And when they see some kind of inappropriately, if these government servants are behaving, then they are forced to reveal their identity. And at that time, when that government servant then falls in line to say, oh, sorry, sir, we did not recognize you, please sit, I will do your work, and this kind of stuff. So these people, the mischievous boys and the ladies and all, some of them were throwing stones at him, some of them were laughing at him, some of them were making fun of him, saying that nanga admi hai, and sort of comments were being passed and all that. So they do not understand the deep spiritual level of Shukadev Goswami. Okay, and in the third verse of the 5th chapter, when the distinction between Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyas Yoga is being discussed, okay, Krishna mentions initially that Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyas Yoga both are good. But he says between that, Karma Yoga is better. Now Krishna basically is looking at the aspect of the result that both of these processes can achieve, because of which he is calling both of them as same. But the process has a bit of difference with each other. That's why some people look at the process as different, whereas Krishna is saying that because both are taking you to the ultimate destination, both are good. And then to describe that situation, Krishna says that Sankhya Yoga Pruthak Balaha. He uses the word. Pruthak meaning different. Sankhya meaning he is referring to the Karma Sannyas. Yoga is he is referring to Karma Yoga. So he is saying that people who look at Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyas Yoga as different are Balaha. They are childish. Why? Why childish is given as an example? Anybody knows? Sushil Prabhu, Rakesh Prabhu, Bhagavad Gita में हम लोग ने सीखा है. Why the word Bala is used there? And it is applicable here as well. That's why I'm linking that. Sushil Prabhu याद है?
नहीं प्रभु, immediately नहीं.
नहीं? Okay, so Bala is basically childish because children are innocent, but they do not have deep knowledge, neither do they have a mature intelligence. So what happens is when you give two things, one is wrapped very nicely in front of a child and one is wrapped very shabbily. If you give a gold coin within the shabbily wrapped parcel, they will ignore that. But if you give them a toffee in a nicely wrapped manner, they will accept it. Why? Because they look at the superficial appearance and they do not look at the content inside. He does not understand that if in exchange of this gold coin, I can buy 100 toffees. Instead, I'm giving up gold coin and taking one single toffee. So that is because the children look at the very superficial level appearance. And the people who are low in intelligence, they also look at in a same manner because they cannot understand what is inside. They only look at the external appearance, the superficial appearance. That is the commonality between the children and the low intelligence people. And the same thing Prabhupada has written here, the street boys and the less intelligent women who followed him were struck with wonder and fear. Why this is important to understand? Because people, they who do not have a capability to discriminate, who cannot understand what is right, what is wrong, they go by some personalities whom they respect, and if these personalities approve so certain product or a certain personality, then they accept the verdict. This is called as something called as directly or indirectly it is called as edification. Now this is the same ploy that is applied by companies during their product marketing also. So if a normal person like you and me were to go and market a product or act in an advertisement, nobody will look at it. But if Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar or MS Dhoni, they act in an advertisement, then people will look at it and then they will buy the product. Why? Because people do not understand the product, they do not have the knowledge, they do not have the intelligence, but they only look at the fact that it is marketed by a known, recognized, famous personality whom they respect. So when these children and the women, they found that Shukadev Goswami is respected by the various sages assembled there, at that time they saw that their understanding about this madman who is walking naked on the street is completely different than the actual content within the package. They realize that because these sages, they themselves are very respected personalities and they are giving respect to somebody, that means this somebody has to be at least equal to or greater than the personalities, these respected personalities. And that's why they backed away and they went back. They stopped doing those nonsense. So they retired from their frivolous activities. That is what Prabhupada writes over there. Another point to be noticed is Srila Vyasdev Narad Muni did not get up. Okay, this is how an exchange of respect happens between a guru and a disciple. When a guru comes in, disciple bows down, respectfully gets up and receives him. When a disciple comes in, the guru is not required to do that. Yeah? Guru loves a disciple. Guru doesn't need to respect a disciple. The respect is applicable so that the instructions can be taken respectfully. The Guru himself does not demand a respect. Shukadev Goswami did not ask all these guys to stand up because he has come. They got up by themselves because they respected Shukadev Goswami. But had they not done so, had they considered him to be an ordinary person, just like you and me, what would have happened? They may not have taken the instructions or the verses, the statements spoken by Shukadev Goswami, they wouldn't have taken it seriously. And that would have meant that then this Srimad Bhagavatam, speaking of it, also would not have been so effective. So all of these things, we should keep one thing in mind very clearly, that Suta Goswami, when he is speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya, or Shukadev Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj and other sages, or Vyasdev speaking to Shukadev Goswami, or Narad Muni speaking to Vyasdev, or Brahma speaking to Narad Muni, or Krishna speaking to Brahma. All of these people, they did not speak this because they had absolutely nothing else to do. कि भाई खाना पीना हो गया, अभी कुछ काम धंधा नहीं है, दोपहर को सोने के बजे चलो let's talk about Bhagavatam. This was not the case. Okay, It is critically important. That's why it was spoken, irrespective of whether one has time or not. So because these instructions are very critical for us, okay, these were spoken. So these have to be taken up in the same respectful manner and applied in our own life as well. Hare Krishna. Any questions so far? Rao Prabhu, Rakesh Prabhu, Sushil Prabhu, Uday Prabhu, welcome.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Samvrutastatra mahan mahiyasam brahmarshi rajarshi devarsha sanghai vyarochala chatalam bhagavan yathenduhu graha grahar kshatar paritah. Translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami was then surrounded by saintly sages and demigods, just as the moon is surrounded by stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies. His presence was gorgeous and he was respected by all. Purport. In the great assembly of saintly personalities, there was Vyasadeva, the Brahmarshi, Narada, the Devarshi, Parshurama, the great ruler of the Kshatriya kings, etc. Some of them were powerful incarnations of the Lord. Sukadeva Goswami was not known by Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, or Devarshi, nor was he an incarnation like Narada, Vyasa, or Parshurama, and yet he excelled them in respects paid. This means that the devotee of the Lord is more honored in the world than the Lord himself. One should therefore never minimize the importance of a devotee like a Sukadeva Goswami.
Jai.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. You look at the depth of the purport that Srila Prabhupada writes. Has anybody understood? Can somebody explain what does this purport mean? What do you think it means? Why is Suta Goswami talking about Brahmarshi, Rajarshi, Devarshi? Anybody? Okay.
Prabhu, these are the Brahmarishi or Rajrishi, and all these are the people depending on their knowledge on the scriptures.
Yeah, correct.
And since Sukdev Goswami was not designated in any of these categories, still he was respected because he has his own different features, but which can tell his spiritual knowledge as well as so many other things. As you have said that he has heard Krishna, he has heard Shankar, he has so he was already knowing all these things.
Okay. So anybody knows the fight between Vasishtha and Vishwamitra? Why did it happen? Okay.
They are at one point of time he was Brahmarshi, but Vishwamitra was not Brahmarshi.
Yeah, correct. So what happened then? So there was please continue.
Yeah. Then he thought that why so respect to him. Vishwamitra understood that because he's a Brahmarshi, then it takes a path that I'll also become Brahmarshi.
Yeah, correct. So if you look at it, meaning despite reaching to that level, that you have very well understood, you are not the body, you are the soul. You very well understand incarnations. You very well understand your new bodies. You very well understand the past, present of you and future. Okay. You understand everything. All the Shastric knowledge is there with you. But what is missing? Can somebody say what is missing in that? What is missing? In a person like Vishwamitra, what do you think is missing? Anybody?
Devotion to the Lord.
We can't hear you, Mataji.
Yeah, it's control over his krodha.
Let's say control is there. So is that the only thing missing?
Devotion to the Lord.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so all of these factors about control over krodha or the knowledge about soul matter and the scriptures and all these have a purpose behind it. The purpose is basically be able to perform bhakti to the Lord. So if you have read absolutely each and every scripture but have not reached that pinnacle of bhakti, then all of the knowledge of your scriptures is absolutely useless. Even if you are, meaning, say the person does not speak a single lie, like Raja Harishchandra, but that doesn't mean he is a devotee of the Lord. So if you remember in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 28th verse, the last verse of the chapter, Krishna says, Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atet tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Krishna says, if there is a person who understands Vedas, Vedeshu, Yajneshu, who performs each and every sacrifice, Yajneshu tapassu chaiva, he does austerities, and various yajnas, tapas, austerities, and so many things he is doing, still he doesn't get bhakti. It's not necessary that he will get bhakti. But one who achieves my bhakti, he will get everything what the previous guys have possessed, plus he will get much more. He will be able to come to me, my supreme abode, he says. Now that is actually the difference between a devotee and the mechanical processes, who are successful in the mechanical processes. So all of these Brahmarshis or Rajarshis and all that, they are very good, no doubt about it. But devotee is even more than that. That is why when Durvas Muni insulted and gave trouble to Ambarish Maharaj, and Durvas Rishi, he created a demon out of his own hair, and he directed the demon to destroy Ambarish Maharaj. And when Vishnu was watching all of this, Vishnu asked Sudarshan Chakra to destroy that demon. Then Sudarshan Chakra destroyed that demon. Ambarish Maharaj was completely unharmed. Okay. And then Sudarshan Chakra started to run after Ambarish Maharaj. Then Ambarish Maharaj realized that I cannot, nullify the effect of Sudarshan Chakra. So he started running at different places, different planets, going to different demigods. Finally, he came to Vishnu, and Vishnu said that I cannot do anything. If you want to repent for your mistake, if you want some forgiveness, go to Ambarish Maharaj. He will forgive you. And if he forgives you, you assume it that I have also forgiven you. He comes to Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj says, I have never taken any offense for whatever you did. So the point here is, despite being such a highly qualified Brahman and priest and so many things available at the disposal of Durvas Muni, whatever he spoke came out to true. Despite that, he did not understand devotion to the Lord, and he cursed a devotee like Ambarish Maharaj. The point being highlighted here is devotion to the Lord surpasses absolutely anything and everything. There is nothing that can come close to devotion to the Lord. And this is what the underlying principle of whole of Srimad Bhagavatam. If we understand this, that bhakti stands taller than anything and everything, and we have to strive for bhakti, selfless, unmotivated, consistent, favorable to Krishna, these characteristics of bhakti, then we have understood Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? So these people like Vishwamitra, although they had become Brahmarshi later, okay, they took a good amount of time to become devotees of the Lord. And that also happened, you know, right? Vishwamitra also was there in Ramayana. So one day, Vishwamitra came to the Dashrath Maharaj. Was it Valmiki or Vishwamitra? I think
Vishwamitra only.
Yeah, Vishwamitra. He came to Dashrath Maharaj and he asked for Ram and Lakshman for a certain amount of time because they were trying to perform yajna and a lot of demons were disturbing them. They were not letting the yajna to become successful. So Vishwamitra took the permission and they took Ram and Lakshman with him. On the way, they had huge amount of discussions on various topics. And they reached to a place wherein there was one devotee, a demon, she-demon, a demoness, named as Tataka. So Ram killed Tataka, and Ram killed one more demon who was the son of Tataka. And then there was this demon called Marichi. Okay. So Marichi was not killed by Ram purposely, but he fled away. He said sorry and he fled away. Okay. And so after this incident, then Vishwamitra went away. So that was his last activity in Ramayana. Meaning from that place, then he went to another place where he went to Janakpur, where Sita Mata was there. And then the discussion between him and Janak Maharaj happened, and then the agreement happened that Ram will marry Sita. And after that, Vishwamitra left. So, meaning the point is, for Vishwamitra kind of person also, until Ram met him and the devotion was arised in his heart, he was still a person, he was like a Rishi Muni only, after which he became a devotee. That was the point I was trying to emphasize upon. Hare Krishna. Now, last verse of the day. Prashantamasīnam akuntha medhasam munim nrupo bhagavato abhyupetya pranamya murdhna vahitah krutanjalir natva gira sundruta yanva pruchat. Translation. Anybody reading? Who's reading? Uday Prabhu, you want to read today? You haven't read.
I'll not be able to read today.
Acha, okay. Sushil Prabhu, Rao Prabhu?
Yeah. I'll read. The sage Shri Sukdev Goswami sat perfectly pacified, intelligent, and ready to answer any questions without hesitation. The great devotee. Maharaj Parikshit approached him, offered his respects by bowing before him, and politely inquired with sweet words and folded hands. The gesture was adopted by Maharaj Parikshit of questioning a master is quite befitting in terms of spiritual injunctions. The spiritual injunctions is that one should humbly approach a spiritual master to understand the transcendental sign. Maharaj Parikshit was now prepared for meeting his death, and within the very short time of 7 days, he was to know the process of entering the kingdom of God. In such important cases, one is required to approach a spiritual master. There is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master unless one is in need of solving the problems of life. One who does not know how to put questions before the spiritual master has no business seeing him. And the qualification of the spiritual master is perfectly manifested in the person of Sukdev Goswami. Both the spiritual master and the disciple, namely Shri Sukdev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, attained perfection through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukdev Goswami learned Bhagavatam from his father, Vyasadev, but he had no chance to recite it. Before Maharaj Parikshit, he recited Srimad Bhagavatam and answered the questions of Maharaj Parikshit unhesitatingly. And thus, both the master and the disciple got salvation.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this verse repeats how we should approach a guru. As I have been mentioning it previously also, spiritual knowledge cannot be obtained by any kind of force, by any kind of mechanical means. Yeah, you might give a bribe to a teacher and ask him to give the leak the question paper, and that person may do so. You solve the questions and you get marks and you get a degree. That's possible in material knowledge. But in spiritual knowledge, this is absolutely not possible. Okay, it is not just about getting knowledge from the guru. The guru can impart knowledge. Okay, if you let's say approach a sannyasi in ISKCON, okay, and उनको बोल सकते कि भाई I want to hear all the recordings of yours. He will give you. YouTube पे रहेगा वगैरह. He might give you the link. You can even see the lectures. You can even get the knowledge. But that is not the factor based on which your spiritual progress happens. Today, there are lots of pandits of Sanskrit, but not everybody understands Bhagavad Gita. Even if you read Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita hundreds of times, if there is no mercy of Guru on you, you will not be able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam at all. And I think I gave this example before, just to make the point, I'll repeat it again. If a paper containing the secrets of the Chinese government, but written in Chinese, comes to your hand, will you be able to make out any sense? Because you don't understand Chinese, you will not be able to understand what is written in that. So having a book or reading a book doesn't necessarily mean that we get the knowledge. That knowledge is possible, spiritual knowledge is possible to be received only based on the mercy of the Guru. That mercy of the Guru is such a subtle point, cannot be understood at all. Okay, that mercy makes the Guru, or because of the mercy, the Guru tells Krishna to help one or the disciple understand the science of the bhakti, understand the knowledge, understand the science of the complete devotional service. And then when Krishna gets this request, because the Guru is very much dear to Krishna, Krishna never says no to it. Krishna fulfills that. Then in the role of Paramatma, who is seated in your heart, then the Paramatma starts guiding you. That method, this whole process of we humbly approaching the spiritual master, serving him, asking him the right questions, displaying our sincerity and our eagerness to learn, okay, that makes the Guru understand our need. He feels merciful towards us. He imparts the knowledge, and then we start understanding it via the medium of Krishna and Paramatma. That is absolutely the key. The mercy is the key here for the devotional service. So what Prabhupada is saying is, if you do not wish to solve the problems of your life, these are not material problems that Prabhupada is referring to. If you do not wish to, then don't approach a spiritual master. If you wish to solve the problem of birth, old age, death, and disease, if you are keen, sincere to solve it, only then you approach the spiritual master. If your concern is about earning wealth or a better degree in a college or a university or job and wife and family and all that, there is no need to approach a spiritual master. So So this is the key basically, that why we should approach spiritual master, how we should approach, and what does the spiritual master do for us. This is to be understood. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
I was waiting till you will quote 4.34.
No, that's
or
okay.
You will ask from us.
No, it's okay, because we have spoken about it many times. The practical application is, because see that 4.34 is also at a very basic level, that approaching the spiritual master and how to approach. So what does the spiritual master do from the point of mercy is now what we need to focus at. Yeah. So one may approach, one may have the sincerity, but still there are certain steps that happen even after that as well. Hare Krishna. Any question, or we can wrap up? So
No
next
question.
next class will be the last class of Srimad Bhagavatam, and what we will do is we will take maybe 1 or 2 or 3 classes. We will revise the whole canto again at a summary level, and then move on to the second canto. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Definitely.
So next week also I will try to take the class, and then after that I will ask Jai Govind Prabhu to take a summary of the whole canto. Jai Govind Prabhu is far more knowledgeable than me, so he will be in a nice, very better position than me to speak about the whole canto. Okay, then Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.